What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and we are down to the second step of the PlayStation 2 $20 monitor based on this Sony DVD player. Once again, the model number is the FX970. This is the model we're using that's going to allow us to, basically, we're going to cut this thing up and we're going to mount this on a PS2 and have that portable gaming experience similar to what we saw with the PS1 LCD combo. So this is part two of that. First part was just disassembly. Now we're going to actually get into this a little bit more and convert this into a bolt-on monitor. So what we need to do on this is we've got this cable loose, sticking out. This is the way that it used to attach to the board. What I want to do is fish this back up through here. I think when you take this little cover off. There we go. Got it. All right, so there it is. I did not break it. I think I deserve like a medal or something for that, but it is there. I'm not sure. Taking my time. I think we are good. And I would imagine that's why that hole is as big as it is. It serves as a pass-through. Okay, so we've got this. Now we've got so many more options now on where we can mount this or how we can mount this board because we've got that done. Okay, so see, there you go. So that's clipped in. Okay, so now the two halves are attached. So now we can really see how we can do this. And then once we do that, we'll have a fairly finished looking back piece. And we can also reinstall the battery. And it plugged in here. Plugged in there. Okay, I actually forgot which button did what, so I had to go get the other piece that I discarded. It actually has the labels on this half, so I might have to transfer some labels to just remember, but the farthest button to the left is going to be our power. Leave this like this. Let's go ahead and plug this in. What could possibly go wrong? Only partial death, maybe paralysis. All right. So what you're looking at now is a combination of a couple different adapters here. This is the PlayStation 2 sitting over here. This is the PlayStation 2 standard AV connector. Plugged into a couple of, this is actually a set, two different female connectors, one for video and the one for audio. And then I've taken the two connectors, going from stereo audio to video. Each one has its own signal. That's the way this particular DVD player is going to have to be interfaced with without going in and actually soldering to the board, which you're not going to do that. This is supposed to be something that's kind of on the cheap that anybody can do, so we're just going to have some adapters. These will be linked in the description, so go ahead and check that out. Or actually, I'm going to link these in the pinned comment, and you can check these out. So I just took these two and put some heat shrink tape and heated them up so they kind of stay together nice and form two connections, one for audio, one for video. There we go. So audio is good. See how crucial it was to retain these controls and not have to have them on the front side or the face of the DVD player. Like, see, a lot of these little DVD players, the controls will be on this front case, but in this we completely remove that, marry the two halves together, and then that way when you open this thing up, because it'll be sitting on your PlayStation, you'll have all your controls right there. Once again, remember that input select is on the side there. Gonna have to get rid of that IR sensor there, and I'd like to have the LED lights shine through, so I think I'm going to notch this cover ever so slightly so that we can see those two indicator lights. I think I really snapped. I just snapped the component off. I didn't actually remove it. Swing that down into place, gently meshing the two together, gently meshing these two together like that. We can see that the LEDs are definitely under the case, so we are good to go. So now what I want to do is mark their location so that I can take the board back out, and then I just want to notch, I just want to do a little notch there. Take out our board, set you off to the side, and then we can get in here and just lay the soldering iron down and really melt this out. Like that. Like that. And it will create this. So, you know, it doesn't look like we just melted it with a soldering iron. So when you do that, you don't want to have your hand right there so you can slice through it. Lord knows I've never done that. You know, maybe you got one of these laying around, kicking around somewhere, and you just never bothered to sell it. You just kind of had it. Maybe it's in the back. Maybe it's in some storage location, storage bin somewhere. Who knows? Who knows? To resecure the battery, just kind of put it right there. It's going to be great to keep this battery. It's going to give you options. You won't have to have both. This is going to save us from having to have both things plugged in at the same time. Take our battery, drop it gently in place. Lovely, our lithium-ion battery. In case yours is bad, there is the specifications. You can order new batteries. We can see we have both lights shining through. There we go. All right, so here we go. The front screen, so we know we're going to have hidden screws on the front. Take a razor blade. I'm assuming that this is going to be one down here. Little screws are so cute. This is the Wow Stick Precision Dual Power Mix. Alright, now let's try to separate these without destroying anything. But there could be right there. You know what? There might be. Yep, there we go. Take your time because we may have to rethink this. I know it may sound loud, but I'm being pretty gentle, really. So it's probably a bunch of clips and then just screws at key points. I'm kind of digging into the case. Let's see if I have something less abrasive, like a spudger. I don't want to damage. I don't want to do that. Let's do something like this. Plastic spudger is way better. Oh, and there we go. And it's off. The hinge is still going to stay in place. That's good. Some of this we don't want to have contact anything inside the other half of the board. You can see that's all going to be super flat. So let's get some. Let me get some Kapton tape. Capcom tape? Capcom. Marvel versus Capcom tape. We'll get some of that tape and we'll cover up the circuit board just to make sure that we don't have any kind of interference when we put this part on there. Let's do that now. Capcom tape, yeah. What an incredibly sharp blade. Not. Let's get a different one. All right, so let's figure out how we're going to put these two together. Over. Out of the way, Peck. I'm not a Peck. Yep, it did. Okay, so do we want to do a little meltage here? That looks beautiful. Nah, not really. That could have been done a little better. But let's just see if this is gonna fit now. A little bit more. A little bit more. Beautiful. So we're gonna go back and forth with this until we can get this to sit flush. That's not bad. So let's clean up our cut some. A little melty, but it's still black, and that's the main thing. It'll blend in. It will blend in. So let's reroute this wire. Hot glue is not the strongest thing in the world, but if you go with something a little more industrial like this, I am using woodworking glue sticks. Hot melt. They have a little bit better bond. Ideal for crafts and minor repairs of cardboard, leather, plastic, and canvas. So this is going to work out fine for what we're doing. The other one held together pretty good. So we're going to do that. I'm going to leave this plugged in for a bit. We're going to let the hot glue gun heat up, and then we're going to put this stuff together. You can see I've actually taped the video and controls harness up out of the way. And then I put all these screw covers back in place so that the front looks pretty much stock. I have to hit this with some Windex when we're done here. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our connection here. So let's hit this with a little bit of glue in the corners to kind of get it started. Let's do the same thing here. It's nice having that ledge there so it'll catch the glue and keep it from... See, Sony, if you would have done this the first time, I wouldn't have to do this now. But you forced my hand. You forced our hands to come up with crazy cockamamie schemes to freaking build the things we want. That's a little that's a little messy. We're gonna have to work on that just a smidge. Don't want to get too much on there. I want to be able to use that button. If I glob a bunch of glue in there, I won't be able to actuate it. You have to have a realistic expectation for your end goal here, right? You can't think this is going to be absolutely perfection, you know, with no seams. We're going to glue this and we're going to clean this up as best we can, but this is not going to look exactly you know, like something that Sony would have produced in a factory. Obviously, we're just kind of having fun here. And I know these. And the thing is I know that these exist in this form factor, in this layout, with the screen mounted, you know, mounted like this. These exist. I know RCA made a bunch of them. I'm sure Sony did too. So all we needed was a hinge mechanism on the bottom. That's all we needed. You know, if you were really serious with 3D printing and all that, you could probably print a new case. And you could also go about this in a completely different way. You could actually try to find a Sony DVD player that was like this, sort of made for headrests in the back of a car, and then try to rig up some kind of a hinge mechanism on that itself, and that way you don't have to do this. You can have a much more finished looking piece. It's one of those great consumer electronics that never was. I think it was just a no-brainer for me that Sony would have done that. I mean, you already did it. It's sort of a proof in concept with your PS1. That sold. That extended the life cycle of it. And maybe PlayStation 2 was so popular they didn't care. Maybe they didn't want to cannibalize on their existing DVD player market, which is very possible. But it could have been sold as a premium. Could have been sold as a premium device at a higher price, and I think a ton of people would have bought it. I know I would have, without a doubt, without question, because I already had PS2s, you know. Let's see. Oh, there's our battery light right there. And there we go. Look at that, huh? She works. She's alive. You can hit the input button on the side. Battery level is very low. We got to leave that charged for a while, but you can see there's disk, there's USB, and then there is line in. All right, so here we go. Works. Volume works. Doesn't get really loud, but it is fairly loud. The charge light, it's on. Of course, you have 2 2 separate headphone jacks. So this works as it should. Hot glue is holding very well all the way around. Got some cleanup left to do. We may do some trimming a little bit on the glue here and get this doing what it's supposed to. But I think that's going to work. That's going to work really nice. In my humblest of opinions, I think it's going to work. All right, so let me know what you think down in the comment section below. This is going to be part 2 of the series. This was a little more in depth, so we're going to probably get this thing wrapped up by next episode. The next episode, we're going to focus on making the bracket that's going to mount this to the PlayStation 2. We're going to take these wires, shorten these wires up, and then we're going to call this thing done. Maybe even trim this up and maybe do some custom decal on the back or something, kind of give it that PlayStation flair. But anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments section below about this hackery, this tomfoolery. But yeah, so for not much money, you can be well on your way to making your own PlayStation 2 portable monitor, turning it into a portable DVD player. But we don't care about that. We just care about the games. All right, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next time.